Hey everyone, welcome back to the City Homestead. Earlier, we went to the Jacksonville Tiny Home Convention. It was a pretty big convention, and we got to see some real tiny homes up close.
Yeah, there were a lot of them that was there,
Yeah,
and the ones that we seen, I feel like there were some that was really unique, and I feel like there was some that was really, you could tell they were kind of just homemade.
yeah, it was at the convention, it was builders and suppliers,
Yeah.
and they brought examples like models of their tiny homes, and then you had people who just built some in their backyard
Yeah.
or in their garage, and they just brought them by it as a showcase. This is what you can do on your own, kind of do-it-yourself project, and so you could really see the difference in the styles and how people built them. Um, I think the ones that were commercially made, the quality exceeded my expectations on those. Some were really,
They were amazing.
really nice, but the price.
You might as well.
Yeah, the price. Because we're still going between: are we buying a tiny home on wheels, or are we doing a foundation but still a tinier home?
Yeah.
And the ones on wheels, the ones that we said we don't have to adjust anything about our life with this model, was twice as much as if we just built a little bit more square footage on foundation kind of tiny home.
Yeah.
Like you're spending extra money to have that thing on wheels and to minimize everything like that.
And the one with the foundation, the layout is exactly how you want it.
Yeah, they can customize the ones on wheels,
Yeah.
but you are still limited. No matter how big the house is, it's going to be narrow to fit on that trailer. That's the one thing you can't adjust.
Yeah.
Foundation, you can make it more of a square, make it wider, or get that real living room kind of space. What scared you the most about?
Seeing some of the ones that were kind of homemade, like the space that they gave themselves to live in, and some of these people, it was like a 4-person house, but the space that they gave themselves, it was kind of just like y'all can function in this, like this works for y'all.
Yeah, and that's the customization
Yeah.
of doing it yourself. You can just say, we don't need a living room, we don't need a children's room. Everyone just sleeps in the same area.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, and people have done that for thousands of years, and so it depends on what your lifestyle needs. But seeing it, we did. Good thing is we saw options that we said this could work for us.
Yeah.
But I think we're still going to speak to some architects and find out what we can do as a permanent structure tiny home
Yeah. Just bounce it.
kind of thing, and see what the pros and cons. Because in our situation, this is not a piece of property we're going to be selling.
Right.
Or
Whatever we have on here is what's gonna be.
Yeah.
So.
So it's not like, oh, we can live here for a little bit, then move. We're not going to be the mobile, nomadic style tiny home.
No.
And some people do that and they need it on wheels for that. We're not going to be in that situation. So, but overall, it was a really cool event. A lot of people were there. And really, the main thing was we learned and we got to see and touch and feel what these tiny homes were like to live in.
What scared you the most?
What scared me the most was probably the power hookups. It's not like a normal housing power hookup. How do we get this electric or propane or gas? You got to figure out what kind of power hookups you do, and that would make it a lot more complicated using 2 different power sources or running out multiple lines of power to the property where it's going to be. Because we live so far away from where the main city line is, it would be tens of thousands of dollars just to get gas or electrical out there.
Yeah.
So some of these homes are built to use both. And if you use both, we're going to spend tens of thousands just to get 2 different power sources out there. Or you can go solar, or you can do the propane. The solar, though, the people we were speaking to said that electricians and people who do RV hookups for solar to be off-grid said you're going to be spending as much as a tiny home just to outfit it for the solar to not have to be hooked up to other power.
Yeah.
So the power situation was the one source where I was like, that's the most dicey kind of part of it. And for the cost of that tiny home and to be able to power it consistently and efficiently, you could build a similar size or a little bit bigger tiny home that you design yourself for half the price. And if mobile isn't a concern for you, we don't need to concern ourselves with the mobile part of it.
Yeah.
But it's still not out of the options, because we did see things that we said this can work for our lifestyle, but also we see ideas that we could utilize in a regular slab tiny home.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I like how they maximize space in their kitchen.
Yeah.
We don't need that big kitchen in a smaller home. We can use those features, but in a permanent foundation house.
Still got a lot of good ideas.
So
yeah,
I got the ideas out of it, and the idea that I can live in a square footage kind of aspect of it for that size.
And not feel too like cramped in or overcrowded.
So, last impressions?
I think it was a good turnout. I saw more than I expected to. I didn't have any expectations, but I think what I saw gave me a good impression of what it would feel like if I was to live in that.
Yeah. I think for me, it just able to speak to real people who built these and powered these and supported these. We get to speak with, ask questions. This is what we're trying to do. How would they do it? How do we do this? And so we got real answers instead of trying to search the internet, not knowing who we're talking to and what's going on. So getting the answers done and seeing in person how that space feels. So, well, that was the Jacksonville Tiny Home Convention. I'm not sure if it's a season or yearly or seasonal event.
They may do it.
This is the first year we've been here, so it's the first year we got news about it. But really worth it. If you're thinking about being in a tiny home, please look at manufacturers in your area. See if you can take tours of their models or their units or where they build them. They were all really friendly and helpful. And check for areas where they have convention centers and they may have an event like this. And so I would recommend checking it out, really speak to somebody in person before diving into it. Closing thoughts?
If you are going to do something like this or thinking about doing something like this, just try to keep an open mind to to like what your standards are for living, what you need and what you want, and then how you can possibly put that all together in order to create this type of lifestyle. So. Yep.
So thanks for joining us today. Please check out our other videos, and you can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. So see us there. We got different videos of all types of different subjects about living on the Passetti homestead.
See y'all.